Hey guys, this is Orsi and this is going to be a rather special first impression of a deck that I actually said yes to. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I'm gonna link the video where I went through a few decks with Lisa Papez and Peggy and ended up picking this deck to be my next one because, you know, why not? Which was a surprising result for me, to be honest. I was expecting a different deck to win. But you know, life happens, people help you out, and that's why it's good to actually have other people weigh in when you're unsure about decks, because you know, their opinion can help you see something that you're not seeing. And in my case, that was the excitement that I obviously showed, even when I was really sick, because I was really sick when we finally had a chance to do this video. But anyway, I posted a flip through of the whole deck separately, so if you're interested in the cards and you don't care about my opinion, obviously you can just check that one out. Other than that, what I usually do in these first impressions these days, at least, is that I try to pick out a few cards that I like, pick out a few cards that I don't like, and you know, show you guys, because in the end, when I work with the deck, it's always interesting to see what cards were, you know, like in either camp and if they changed. But with this deck, the artwork is just so interesting that to be honest, I couldn't do that. So I'm just gonna show you a few cards. These are the extra, by the way, that comes with the deck. So bookmarks and edging projects are really, you know, like they're useful for that. The little white book is little because, you know, it's Los Scarabeo. I don't think I said that. It's a Los Scarabeo deck, so it's not just 4 language, actually. It's 6. And there's no Hungarian, so how dare you. But yeah, there's 4 here, so, but there's 6 on the cards. The English is in the left corner, by the way, if you are struggling to find it, because I was when I first look at the cards. But I read a few of the descriptions, because you know, there are quite specific imagery and different from the RWS in this deck, and I was, you know, curious to see if the guidebook offered some guidance on the artwork. Obviously not enough, because these tiny books are never enough, but I was pleasantly surprised that it's more than nothing. For example, for the Fool, we have this figure who's obviously like a marionette puppet, you know, so there's a puppeteer somewhere, is there, you know, and it's beating a drum. It looks like a court jester, so it has a plushie. It's different. There's a fortune cookie on the tree and stuff like that. And the description says that, you know, the Fool wants to walk to the rhythm of his own drum beat, or you know, which is obvious. But between the distractions and road bumps, though, he wonders, how free is he really? And that's a very interesting idea to bring into the Fool, you know, freedom. How free are we actually? And I don't think I ever really thought about freedom in that sense with the Fool, because I always thought that, yes, the Fool is obviously free. The question is whether using his freedom, you know, his choices, like what the choices are. It's not like, oh, is he free or not? So that was already a very good start for this deck. So, you know, the guidebook is usable. The text is as much as for the minors as for the majors, but you know, it's not enough. What I had, which was weird, is I kind of feel like that they upgraded the box, but not the deck, because it's a very shiny one, but it kind of feels like that this is a new type of shine on the deck, which I like. Obviously, I have no idea, but it kind of makes me think about that the box got an upgrade, but the deck didn't. Like the deck remained somewhere in storage for like tens of years, and then they just put it in new boxes. I don't know why. It's a weird thing that I get with this deck. My first idea was obviously to cut off the borders because, yeah, even though it's not as bothersome as I was imagining, just looking at the scanned images, when you look at the scanned images, the borders and the titles jump out more. When you look at this deck in person, they are more in the background, so they are not as distracting as I was expecting it. Plus, for some reason, when I was just watching flip throughs or people using this deck in readings, I always got the feeling that this was more of an RWS clone than not. And so I was like, oh, okay, I can just easily cut off the borders because this is so obviously a fool. I can, remember, it's easy. But when I went through the deck, there are actually quite a few cards that might be obvious that this is the Hierophant if you read the title, but not necessarily if you just, look at the card. And there was a bunch like that. Obviously, there are easy ones, but this card, for example, could be two of, I don't know, pentacles or two of swords or something like that. Yes, there's a snake and a sword, but it could be even like something else, like a 5. So I decided to, for at least now, not to cut anything off. And I'm trying to show you the okay, maybe the 3 of Cups is easy, but okay, of course, I'm now gonna have all that. Look at this. This kind of gave me the strength card when it's the 6 of Cups, and yes, as soon as you start seeing the cups, it's obvious. So I'm thinking that I can learn the deck relatively fast, only if I work with it quite frequently. 9 of Cups. This is not a 9 of Cups, not a usual 9 of Cups. So there's a lot like that in this deck. For example, King of Cups makes me think about me, like I was thinking more about the Hermit and stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily going to just go ahead and cut off all the borders. Someone mentioned it under Lisa's video that it's a good idea to, just get a Sharpie and scribble through the other languages so they are, not that bothersome. But I don't have this specific dark blue Sharpie because this is not black, this is dark blue. I only have, I don't even have a black Sharpie anymore because it dried out. And Sharpies are not, like easy to get here, but, I could use just probably any alcoholic marker. But I don't think I would be able to get this blue, and I would be bothered by the color difference. I think that would be more distracting than leaving the titles on. So for now, I'm not going to trim the deck. But look at that, how cool. This death card, by the way, reminds me of the Little Prince. So I really like that. I don't, it's not specifically like that in that book or in that deck, but it reminds me of that, so it's really cool. So yeah, this deck is more surprising in person than I was expecting it. It's, I would say, an old Los Caraballo cardstock, which is more similar to NPC's cardstock. If I'm understanding the old Los Caraballo cardstock right. That was one of the cards that I kept seeing everywhere, 5 of Pentacles. Which is, it's not a usual 5 of Pentacles. And there's just so much character in this deck, and like, look at that, 6 of Pentacles. Very, very interesting. We have Catwoman and Flying Fish and all. It's abstract, but in a very interesting way. I like these 2 ones. Into That Valley. So yeah, it's a very interesting deck. I'm very, very happy that I picked this one, and I'm sure I'm gonna use it a lot. because I really like just looking at the art, and that's always a good sign when when you don't want to put down the deck because you're just enjoying looking at the artwork, because there's gonna be cards that I'm gonna only see if I flip through the deck. I'm not gonna be able to see them in readings because not every card comes out in readings if you not use just one deck, and which I don't. But yeah, that's my first impression. I don't think I have oracles in mind to pair it with right at this moment. I'm just thinking. Obviously, the zombie oracle is going to be very good because I have a feeling it's gonna work. But I'm biased towards the deck. And of course I put away the newest prototype, so I cannot show you. But whatever. So look at that, 7 of Wands with a big back cat. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with this deck. King of Pentacles. Look, there's 2 people, 3 people on the King of Pentacles, and this one is drawing the attention, not the King. So I think this deck is very good for bringing side of cards into or elements in the cards into focus that normally I hate shuffling, especially in camera, because I don't really know how to do it correctly. So yeah, I'm an overhand shuffler, but I just kind of wanted to show you that I'm assuming if you're a reflow shuffler, yeah, you can bridge it back and do all that things because the cardstock is very good. But that's not me. I don't know. My hands are not good for that. But I'm gonna pull one card to finish this one. I don't even know. Look at that. We have the 2 of Cups, and I'm gonna take it as my relationship with this deck is going to be a really awesome one. I wasn't, thinking at anything before pulling the card out, but I appreciate the deck. Now, look, it doesn't feel like the deck loves me as well. So yeah. This is awesome, and I'm gonna pull a few other cards too. Oh, these are the backs. I think I forgot to show you. And because this has borders as well, we can just remove and not be afraid. Come on, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, like give me something. Okay, and the Devil, but whatever. The first one was the 2 of Cups. These are just extra pulls to show you how the deck looks on the table. Obviously, there's gonna be a review in the long run, to see how this deck actually worked for me. Not entirely sure when, because I picked decks to study and work with every month, so I will have to find the time. But as I'm assuming that as the weather is starting to get better and the hours are longer, and I just don't feel as tired as I was during the winter months, that I will be doing more readings on my other channel. And if I start doing that, I'm sure I'm going to use this deck because, why not? So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Please go ahead and watch the original video and, like that video, because Lisa is so kind to invite people on. And I was with Nancy, who is a personal favorite of mine on YouTube and, in life. So I was very, very pleased to learn that we were on the same video as well. And her deck was awesome too. So please watch that part as well. If you like this, please like this video. Comment down below. Do you have this deck? You like this deck? What do you think? Because, that always not just helps, but I like engaging with you guys. If you're interested in joining the Wildwood study, because we're doing a yearly or a year-long study on the Wildwood Tarot, please check the community post about joining the Discord server that is dedicated for that. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye!